Some people be they holla say they want the power. Them be promise us say we go get light and power. Them hustle sote they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Every day dollar just they get the higher power over naira. See them talk say make we off mind, but thank God say my ego don't come. So my people make you lie down, yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My people make we shout, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My ego die the politico, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. This one not day off in mind, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. Person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that Mayegun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say Mayegun diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day then they take money in bulk. Woman picking, they the street they hawk. Still them talk say make we no talk. But thank God say Mayegun don't come. So my people make you laugh, oh yo yo. Mayegun don't come, oh yo yo. My people make you shout, oh yo yo. Mayegun don't come, oh yo yo. Man of the masses, Mayegun don't come, Mayegun diary politico, Mayegun don't come, this man not the off in mind, Mayegun don't come, aha. Now you not done here, all these bad politicians, then we call themselves politicians. When they thief our money, we no want to make the common man get what he supposed get for this country. And I never hear something. Now go hear one, Mayegun, you go show na paper. Mayegun diary political.
Hundreds of UK registered nurses must retake their boards after widespread fraud has been uncovered at a Nigerian testing center. They are suspected of obtaining their results fraudulently through the Nursing Midwife Council exam by using proxy testers, stand-ins, to take their tests for them. It was actually Pearson VUE that tipped off regulators. So 515 UK nurses tested at the center, and at least 48 are suspected, and now all of them must retake the test. They're being given 3 chances to take it and pass. If they refuse to take it or fail after 3 attempts, they're going to have to go to an investigative committee. And additionally, 669 of 1,440 who have applied to the UK register after testing at that center in Nigeria are suspected to be fraudulent applicants, and they're also required to take a new computer-based test. It just keeps happening. Hundreds of UK registered nurses must retake their boards after widespread fraud has been uncovered at a Nigerian test.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làwọn tó dòdòdò. Mayegun diary, Mayegun ti dé o, ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú. Mayegun diary, lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube. Mayegun diary, gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Mayegun já wa sí. Mayegun diary. Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í kó níbẹ̀ o.
Hello there. Sorry about that. I'm trying to figure out my audio. Please let me know if the audio is perfect on your own device there before we get deeper, please.
Godfatherism.
Is the audio perfect? Good morning to you, good afternoon to you, and good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. This is Mayegun Live. Thank you.
Lórí Facebook. Lórí YouTube.
Thank you very much. As much as the audio is perfect, it's sort of a bit lower from my own end. But yeah, we're going to get into it. You know the rituals. You need to read the caption of the broadcast, read the description of the broadcast, share the broadcast, invite your friends and not so friendly friends, and tell them, Mayegun today.
Aṣòfin tí ń rúfin o.
It's coming up now.
Olóṣèlú.
Yesterday, we were looking into the documents released by the Chicago State University. And right here, even here on this platform, we were able to dissect the whole hidden or fraudulent documents. The one that didn't sort of absolve Tinubu from all of these allegations, right? In fact, they further confirmed them. We waited there for the deposition. Deposition is when, Chicago State University that released a document, that released the document, would then come under the oath and swear that everything they are releasing them honestly and they are backing them up. Now, you can't lie, not like in Nigeria, okay? In America, you can't lie under oath. If you don't know something, you have to say you don't know. You cannot defend what you don't know because you can end up in jail. So after releasing the documents, Tinubu's lawyers, Atiku's lawyers, Chicago State University lawyers and their representatives, all of them were present when they started scrutinizing every document. Ladies and gentlemen, the document that Tinubu has been parading for the past 44 years is fake. He forged it. He never went to Chicago State University, right? Identity theft. From the confession of the Chicago State University yesterday, it came to light that the real Bola A. Tinubu did not graduate from their university per se. In fact, when they were issuing certificates for students and what have you, this Bola A. Tinubu never showed up, never picked it up. Tinubu said he lost his own documents when Abacha bombed his house in Nigeria because they were fighting for democracy. That never happened. But on record, Tinubu said he requested for a replacement in 1997. From the record of the Chicago State University, Tinubu never requested for a replacement. He decided to forge one, which right now has now been denied and disowned by the Chicago State University. I just thought I should give you the start, right? Share the broadcast. YouTube pulled down the video yesterday. I think I should use all the available opportunity to always put us all on alert, okay? It seems that we are getting their attention. These people are reporting my YouTube videos as cyberbullying. That is, Mayegun is bullying Tinubu. Mayegun is bullying their government. That's exactly what they are reporting it as. So, 2 straight nights. On Sunday evening, And yesterday, on the Monday evening, yesterday evening. So two broadcasts that specifically spoke on the Tinubu's forged certificate in the last 72 hours have been pulled down by the original videos have been pulled down by YouTube because they felt like it runs foul of their rules, which never did. Unfortunately, they couldn't point anything out, but they said, well, we are sorry, we couldn't let it stay. So I want to put all of you on notice, okay, that they are currently on us, and definitely we are hitting the right nail on the head. We have done nothing wrong. This platform and this program is mainly, right, for enlightenment as well as for educational purposes. And it is political. You understand? So if anything should go, what have you, just be rest assured that that will never keep us shut. You understand? So beyond that notice, they are on us. Last night we had over 60,000 people who actually tuned in on that expose. And tonight we believe that it is almost going to be similar. Therefore, there is possibility that this particular video will also be pulled down. But be rest assured, like I said, there is always going to be alternatives. The video is still back on Mayegun's Diary Political, but they are now in parts. So if you haven't seen them, or if you have been looking for that main one and you haven't seen it, just go and watch them in parts. This is like the continuation. Remember, you need to like the broadcast too to show that you are here. That is your offering. Thank you. Now, this is us going into it now. Ladies and gentlemen, Nigeria is in a big mess. And let us start from the people who are saddled with the responsibility of, for the sake of the public interest, to share the truth for the sake of public interest. I am talking about the media. The media in Nigeria right now, they are rolling head over, hills, trying to get their own crumb from whatever APC, Egbekegbe, is offering. This media in Nigeria, not all of them, because you can still count on those who have risked it or who are risking it all right now and speaking out, like Oseni Rufai and many others like that. But you can tell the major of the media cartel in Nigeria are already in the ass of this APC, Egbekegbe. We are talking about, and it's not just the media. We are also talking about those who claim to be elites, educated ones, and scholars. What do they call them? Elder statesmen. Majority of them are telling people, they are telling young people now that they should let it go. They should forget it. Forging certificates, being a former drug trafficker, things that ordinarily should never, should be enough to have made sure that people like Tinubu never had a chance of getting closer to seat of power. But they are all keeping quiet right now, or they are all gaslighting the people. So the media, they are actually giving the people different narratives in Nigeria right now. Immediately, Chicago State University dropped the once they dropped the record. Nigeria media, they were not interested in the content of that record. TV, radio, papers in Nigeria, they were all more or less like in celebratory mood, telling Nigerians in Nigeria that Tinubu has been vindicated. Chicago State University has confirmed that he attended their school. A lot of them who claimed to be educated as well, they were slaughtering and destroying their own whatever image they have for this guy. They are now, I mean, right now I have been seeing interpretations like you can design your own certificate when you graduate from your school. You can do this, you can, all those things that, I mean, educated people just to defend this. So in Nigeria, they were telling those in Nigeria that Atiku is only wasting his time in America because what he is asking for is that the Tinubu attended Chicago State University, and Chicago State University have said, yes, he attended their school. That the issue of whether he's a girl or a boy, that one is just a typographical error. It is a non-issue. And they were celebrating that in Nigeria. They were having programs on TV in Nigeria. Right now, that a lot of us on social media are so much, disgusted with all of this. No, they are not. In Nigeria, they continue to mishmash the whole thing, including their churches and their mosques. By the way, they couldn't tell their people that, listen, this is what has been. Again, not all of them, because I can tell you, there have been people who have actually spoken out as well, damning all of these biases. A lot of them, and the reason why a lot of you are asking, that how could they know about this discovery this time, that Nigeria is still calm? Nigerians are not reacting to it. Why are the people not making demands right now? Be on the street and ask the appropriate institutions in Nigeria to react before whatever is left of Nigeria image, right, is completely buried and buried forever. You may be asking yourself right there, the reason is not far-fetched. The little ways, the little information, the little medium of accessing information in Nigeria is controlled by these criminals. And that is why they are hunting and, targeting journalists that dare ask questions. So they control that medium and they want the social media gone and gone forever. But if you have an opportunity of watching me from Nigeria, listen to me. I don't know what they have told you. I don't know what you believe. And I don't know where you stand. And I don't want to. But you see what you're about to hear from my mouth this evening. Whatever you like, you want to do with it, that is on you. But the fact that I am going to make it easier for you to understand what is really happening and what does this actually mean. Beyond the fact that a lot of you have chosen to be stupid, okay? Like downplaying this whole thing. To you, my friend, it's nothing. Was this not the same thing they were talking about Buhari? Your line of argument. You can all continue to cry. Come and remove him now. Why don't you come and impeach him? And every other thing you are telling yourself. That is fine. It's fine. It's okay. You can choose to remain that stupid. That's fine. But here is something you have, you will not be able to kind of deny. Whether not 10 minutes, 20, or half hour, or the whole time you are going to spend with us this evening, I am going to you're going to leave this platform tonight, or whatever hour you are right now. You are going to leave it with a troubled conscience. And that is exactly what I'm going to achieve. A troubled conscience, because your conscience might be cold, dark, whatever it is. You might actually be in a way not concerned. Indifferent, the way some of you pretended to be in the face of this whole thing. That is fine, okay? But there are things you will not be able to deny, because you are going to find yourself in some of the scenarios I am going to eventually paint tonight before you leave. So yeah, choose to be. But the truth of the matter is this. Tinubu, as we have it right now, has no educational qualification or any proof of it. None. When Tinubu started his criminal political career, when he ran back from the United States of America in the early 90s, and being associated with other possibly, criminals themselves in fighting for return to democracy. Return to democracy. He had money. He came with bag of money from the United States of America. Part of that money, $1.8 million from that money, was almost frozen. He renegotiated it, forfeited 60,000 US dollars to the American authority, but he didn't stay in America to fight all of that. While the rest of his friends were going to jail, as they were hunting them and then jailing them, he ran to Nigeria. Back in Nigeria, he joined politics. He was elected senator, of course, in 1992. So being elected senator, he decided to build his career through that until 1999. So in 1999, when Nigeria returned back to democracy, so it was time for everybody to now show your credentials. So Tinubu decided to be governor of Lagos State. So from the educational qualifications he submitted at the time, he wrote where he went to primary school, secondary school, and then the university. So it was during this, cross-examination that it was found that he didn't go to any primary school. The one he presented was fake. The secondary school he presented was fake. Therefore, he has committed perjury. And it doesn't matter. He must be automatically disqualified, arrested, tried, and jailed. That was what their law says. That was the moment Tinubu started fighting this battle of identity. Since then, since 1999, 24 years ago. But he used every tool, every negotiating tool and whatever to get himself really good out of it. Not really completely, but it was like inconclusive criminal prosecution. But later, when another opportunity presented himself and he wanted to be president of Nigeria, what did he do? He was a little bit smart, but not very smart. Oh, sorry, it was a little bit, he wanted to act clever, but he wasn't smart with it as well. So he chose never to list any primary school, secondary school in his INEC form for the president of Nigeria. He now listed Chicago State University with one ridiculous degree he awarded to himself that doesn't exist. So from all of this, while he's been trying to forge that throughout his career, he's probably mixed them up. When they asked him in 1999, why did you have all of these fake documents? He blamed Tokunbo Afikuyomi. Tokunbo Afikuyomi was his very strong boy at the time, and I believe he still is. He said Tokunbo Afikuyomi filled his form, and it was Tokunbo Afikuyomi that mixed the whole thing up. So eventually they settled out of court. Chief Gani Faweyimi couldn't complete the total disgrace of this call until he's grown to a big monster you have today, who has captured all institutions, that even his old friend, Bokwari, that tried to stop him at the last minute, realized at the late hour that this guy, Pablo, has already surrounded him. He's already taken over the major ministries. He's already, institutions in Nigeria. So what was left? It couldn't be stopped anymore. The monster has now grown. The beast has now grown to a big monster that the entire institutions in Nigeria have almost been captured, if not everything captured as we speak. So he submitted another document to the INEC. The DSS in Nigeria, they did not do any background check. Of course, you know why now. Why they won't, and why they didn't. Then it was passed onto the INEC body, the electoral body, that is meant to scrutinize every candidate that is running for an election. It is their job. But because it is a corrupt system, he also got cleared. So if he was being cleared by those who are responsible for doing his own background check and all of this check and discover all of these things and save millions of people, the mystery the embarrassment, the disgrace that this whole thing is going to bring upon Nigeria is already starting, by the way. They did not do their job because they were all compromised. So here we are. He was able to use the same state capture to rig an election that has become so disputed. It's one of the greatest, the greatest disputed election in Nigeria history. It is the most charming, like it's a sham, so to say. So he's battling with legitimacy on that part, because like when he ran to be governor and he was governor of Lagos State, this bag was not deeply, probably this time, deeply exposed. Or should we say, there was no social media in 1999, and they could control the main media to make sure that the narrative remained what they wanted it to be. And it worked for some time until it came out now to lead Nigeria. So that then brings in more searchlights. Who is this guy? It didn't even take too long when David Omo Undeyin, the Bat Slayer, decided to dig further from what has been historically the story and inconsistencies about Tinubu. When David surfaced, it was like he was doing too much. We didn't know he was doing a generation a favor. The older generation who lived through Tinubu's criminality, they are now saying Atiku is intentionally disgracing his friend. That what does he stand there to gain? That everybody knows all these things now. Are you listening to me? The older generation that will tell you that you are overdoing it. Let it go. Forget it. Is it a certificate we go shop? He's already president. All of you are just crying, lamenting, and you open their profile. They are elderly looking people. They believe that nobody who has grown enough in 1999 that did not know about Tinubu's story. So they wanted everybody to just forget, let's just move on. Is he the only person that will first forge certificates? So they are now saying, Shey Atiku want to talk, say he no know Tinubu about all of these things. Like, why is he trying to act like he's telling us new thing? That is not new. Everybody knows that Tinubu is corrupt, is shady, nobody knows about him, and all of that stuff. But the fact is that he is winning. Do you understand that? He is winning now. He became governor. Do you know how many people he has made senator? He has made governor. Now he's president. Everybody is just everybody is just beefing him. It is no longer about morality anymore. But let's even put moral aside for now. He has committed a serious crime. Identity theft. He stole somebody's identity. You know, initially, the argument is about whether he went to Chicago University, or he graduated there, or he didn't graduate there, Abi. Then Chicago State University came out and said, Bola A. Tinubu, Bola A. Tinubu attended their school, and they said graduated initially, remember? So people now said, okay, show us the certificates of that Bola A. Tinubu. When they decided to show us documents, they discovered that there is a Bola A. Tinubu from Southwest College that gained admission into Chicago State University in 1977 for a diploma course in business administration. You dey follow me? There is record of that. But you see, this Bola A. Tinubu was female. Okay? And, they have the record for her. In the process of presenting the records, they started mixing them up. Okay? But they still gave us anyway by leaving us with more questions than answers. In Nigeria, Tinubu filled the presidential form at the INEC. Inside the form, Tinubu did not fill in primary school. He did not fill in secondary school. Probably remembering late Chief Gani Faweyemi and waiting in Duam. He decided to fill in Chicago State University with Bachelors of Science in Business Admin and then Accounting Honors. That's the title of the degree he gave to himself. He said he graduated in 1979 with Bachelors of Science in Business Administration and Accounting Honors. So that came out to be fake. Let me see if I still have the copy. Bachelors of Science, Business and Administration with Honors. That's it. Okay? So why people started probing that the Chicago State University certificate for 1979 was not designed like this. So Chicago State University was thereby subpoenaed by David Undenyi and another lawyer. When they released the document to David, it was David who came back to tell us that forget about forgery, this or that, there is even more. The story long. The Bola A. Tinubu na girl. This was as far back as October or November 2022. Atiku and PDP, kind of behind the scene, also sent a lawyer to go and subpoena the same Chicago State University to release even more than just what they released there to David. However, they also returned back and gave that lawyer another certificate that they said was Tinubu's certificate. So these two people, David and these lawyers, right? They compared that, they gave them two different certificates, Chicago State University. Even at that, the two certificates they gave to them, they are also different from the one Tinubu submitted to INEC. What is going on? Now, when the election happened and it went the way it went, Atiku had to return back to America, this time around, with more, deeper, stronger legal team. Okay? These ones that will go to the, if Tinubu run into rabbit hole, they go follow him. And that's exactly what happened. So these ones were now asking, those documents you are given to this journalist, to this lawyer, we want to see everything. Okay? So they now listed what they wanted and they gave the list to the court. The court said they have to give those documents, those records of Tinubu, everything they have to give them to Atiku's lawyer. Not just give it to them. When you give them those documents, Atiku's lawyer will look at them and then you will come and verify those documents you are giving to his lawyers. It is called deposition. It is not just for me to come out and say, Oyagba, these are the documents, Oyagba. So you must come and defend that document you are giving to me. You must say that this document you are giving to me, you are 100% sure that you know everything about it, that you didn't manufacture any of them. You did not create them out of the blue. So if they probe further, you will be able to defend every one of them. So don't just bring documents. Don't just give people these things in the media. That is what is called deposition. Now, there wahala started. That was when Tinubu realized that this whole thing is beyond just collecting his record and splashing them in the media. No. They would have to prove, collecting all this record is to prove that Tinubu committed a serious crime. Among others, he stole somebody's identity and he started living the life of that person. We don't know the person. Chicago State University will need to come and prove who is that person. And if they can prove that the Tinubu that went to their school and presented a certificate to INEC is the same one, that is fine. That's all they wanted them to do. Now, dear wahala deal, because Chicago State University, therefore, have to call their legal team to advise them. So after releasing those records, it was time for deposition. Now, there is this unedited deposition. It is not proofread yet. So which means there's going to be so many typographical error. There are typographical error in them, but they were the conversation around Tifnumbu's certificate. Tifnumbu. So from the deposition, the issue of the Tinubu that came to Chicago State, from Southwest College to Chicago State University, a girl, she was an American too, not Nigerian. So when they asked the Chicago State University rep during deposition after swearing to an oath that everything is going to say is truth, nothing but the truth, only all truth, nothing but the truth. They asked him, your university, can you prove that the Bola A. Tinubu that came to your school is the same as Bola Ahmed Tinubu? The Bola A. Tinubu, female, American, that gained admission from Southwest College to your university, is she or he the same as Bola Ahmed Tinubu? Baba, the school said they cannot say. What, have you ever seen Bola Ahmed Tinubu in your record? Said, well, except for the time they were exchanging conversation with different people requesting for Tinubu's certificate. So they couldn't say if the Bola A. Tinubu that came to their school was a girl or a boy during the oath. They couldn't say. They said they can't say if it's a boy or a girl. Now that Bola A. Tinubu, who is now Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the president of Nigeria, presented a certificate from your institution. Did you issue that certificate? They said, well, we did not issue that certificate because the stamp on that certificate is not the stamp from our school. We never issued that. Really? How is that? It was then Tifnumbu's lawyer, who was also there. His name is Wole Oluwole, something like Wole Oluwole, who went to the court to defend the Oluwole certificate. Inside that court, they now said forging stamp, forging certificate of institutions, schools in America is a Nigerian thing. They said that during the deposition, saying the stamp on the certificate presented by Tifnumbu was not from their school. So, you know that Nigerians like to forge things. It is a Nigerian thing. They forge it. So Tifnumbu forged a stamp that doesn't belong to them and presented it as from them. Anyway, I told you I'm going to read for a few minutes, okay? Like I said, the deposition is completely, unedited yet, okay? But for all hang on. Let me see my JText there. So for all the kids to possibly, listen, I'm going to read this more or less. I'm going to read it like what do you call it? I'm going to read it like role play. That kind of role play. So you should just just flow with me. All right. So let's start from this is the transcript of what happened. And Carl Westberg is the representative of the Chicago State University. So you have the Atiku's lawyer asking him questions based on all of the documents presented. They have sort of listed them as exhibits. Okay. Like I said, transcript from court is just like what everybody is saying in the court and somebody is typing them. So it needs to be kind of proofread to ensure that there's accuracy with what one person say or another. But you can get insight into this by just I'm going to try my best to make it interesting reading for you. So it's going to be question and answer now. So this is what do you call it? This is the conversation between one of Atiku's lawyers and then Carl Wellberg, who happened to be his role. So they said the following transcript of proceedings or any portion thereof in the above entitled matter taken on third day of October 2023 is being delivered unedited as an uncertified draft. Uncertified simply means they need to proofread it before they officially release it, but we have the copy, so let's just use it. Now, Miss Liu to Mr. What do you call it? Let's start from Miss Liu, by the way. The question said, and hi to Mr. Wellberg. I'm Angela Liu with the chart on behalf, that is the name of our own, what do you call it, legal bar, so to say. So on behalf of applicant Atiku Abubakar, I'm present here today with my colleague, Alex Damont and Taylor Chiuski, who are joining us virtually, as well as my colleague, Nicole, in the other room, so to say. Would counsel likewise introduce yourself? So Mr. Ace introduced himself. Michael Ace for Chicago State University, the respondent in this matter. Then Mr. Anderson, Mr. Anderson said, good morning, Victor Anderson. I'm on behalf of the intervenor. Period of time, Bola Tinubu. So Mr. Anderson represented Tinubu at this deposition, as is my colleague, Mr. Afolabi. I'll use that, Mr. Afolabi, which is another person there, right? And is appearing virtual, and you see him on the screen. So, Mr. Ace from Ms. Liu now, I believe you had something that you would like to add to the record. So, Mr. Ace, yes, thank you. Just a preliminary matter. We would like to note that today's deposition is under Rule 30, Section B, subsection 6, on 5 topics approved by the court in this matter. So going forward, and the university witnesses prepared to address those topics, and university witness is not prepared to speak on the university behalf on any other issues that is not related to the topics. And we would urge for the applicant and the intervenor to stay with the topics that have been approved by the courts. Finally, I would note, by the agreement of the parties, this deposition is not being video recorded. We do have several persons participating remotely, But it is our understanding, and someone please speak up if this is not so, that no one that is participating remotely is video recording today's deposition. Thank you. So, Ms. Liu, thank you, Mr. Ace and Mr. Westberg. Can you please state and spell your full name for the record? Caleb Westberg. Ms. Liu, and are you being represented by Mr. Ace today? Mr. Westberg, yes. Ms. Liu, and are you being represented by anyone else in the room or on camera today? Mr. Westberg, no. Ms. Liu, have you ever been deposed before? Mr. Wellberg, no. Ms. Liu, with that, I would like to go over some ground rules for the deposition. First, you are under oath today. Do you understand? Mr. Westberg, yes. Ms. Liu, and it is important that there be a clear record of today's deposition. I'm going to be asking you a series of questions, and to ensure that there is a clear transcript of your answer, please respond verbally to all of my questions. And so there should be no head shakes or head nods. Do you understand? Mr. Westberg, yes. Ms. Liu, and so that the court reporter can accurately transcribe the deposition, and let's try not to talk at the same time. Just let me finish my question before you answer, and I'll let you finish your answer before I ask next question. Do you understand? Mr. Westberg, yes. Ms. Liu, if you don't understand the question, let me know and I'll try to rephrase it. If you don't say anything, I'll assume you understood the question. Do you understand? Mr. Westberg, yes. Ms. Liu, and at times, counsel may object to my question, but unless your counsel instructs you otherwise not to answer, you can answer the question. When he has finished stating his objection, download that. Mr. Westberg, yes. Ms. Liu, finally, if at any point you would like to take a break, just let your counsel know or me know, and we will accommodate you. The only exception, if there is a question pending, and in instance, I'll ask you to answer the question before we take a break. Do you understand? Mr. Westberg, yes. Ms. Liu, and do you have any question about the procedures we will follow today? Mr. Westberg, no. Ms. Liu, is there any reason you cannot testify truthfully and accurately today? Everyone? No? Mr. Westberg, and just to make, Mr. Westberg, no. Ms. Liu, and just to make sure we are on the same page, when I say CSU, I mean Chicago State University. Mr. Westberg, yes. Ms. Liu, and when I say Mr. Tinubu, the Bola Tinubu, who is presently the president of Nigeria. Mr. Westberg, okay. Ms. Liu, and when I say INEC, Independent National Electoral Commission in Nigeria, do you understand that? Mr. Westberg, yes. Ms. Liu, so I would like to borrow your LinkedIn, right? I am handing what is marked as Exhibit 1, whereupon Exhibit 1 was marked for identification. Ms. Liu's question, do you recognize this as your LinkedIn profile? Mr. Westberg, yes. Thank you very much, by the way. I need to ask you if this is kind of something you are following, so that I'm not just talking and getting you so bored sitting down there. It is called deposition, and I'm going to have to do it in a role play kind. Do you understand? So that you too, you can sit down there and follow it. I'm not going to do much of this interruption. Okay, I just want to be sure that you are all following. It is a deposition, okay? So bless you. You may be reading it on the screen as well, okay? But I don't know how my voice sounds to some of you. But I'm going to keep it much like calmer and cool, so that it's not going to be kind of hurting you in the ear, okay, in your ears. Thank you very much. Now let us continue. Now, beautiful. Now, let's go back to that question, okay? Said, and I understand you graduated from the University of California at Berkeley in 2012. Is that correct? Mr. Westberg, that is correct. Miss Liu, and then you received a master's degree in the philosophy from the University of Chicago in 2013, right? Mr. Westberg, that is correct. Miss Liu, you've been employed as the registrar by the Chicago State University since November 2020, correct? Mr. Westberg, October 2020. Miss Liu, since October 2020, and CSU is a public university. Mr. Westberg, correct. Miss Liu, and can you describe to me your job responsibilities? Mr. Westberg, the registrar managing all policies, procedures for the university. So we oppose academic affairs, regulations, and keep the day-to-day management of the office functioning. Miss Liu, and that include maintaining record? Mr. Westberg, correct. Miss Liu, and does CSU registrar office maintain a physical office? Mr. Westberg, yes. Miss Liu, and do you walk out of that office? Mr. Westberg, yes, I do. Miss Liu, and how many employees work in that registrar's office? Mr. Westberg, Mr. Westberg, we are a team of 8 at present. Miss Liu, and do the other 7 individuals report to you? Mr. Westberg, yes. Miss Liu, and you work with all 7 of those individuals? Mr. Westberg, that's correct. Miss Liu, I'm going to mark this as exhibit 2. So whereupon exhibit number 2 was marked for identification 2. Miss Liu, I'm handing you what has been marked as exhibit 2. She handed the exhibit to Mr. Westberg, then followed it with question. Miss Liu, Mr. West, this is the subpoena for the deposition, which includes the topic of examination that Mr. Ace refers to. Is that correct? Mr. Westberg, yes. Miss Liu, prior to today's deposition, did you review the topics of the examination that are listed on the pages 4 and 5? Mr. Westberg, yes. Miss Liu, and are you appearing today as the corporate designee, as all of the topics on pages 4 and 5 of this company? Mr. Westberg, yes. Miss Liu, and are you prepared to each topic of examination on pages 4 and 5 of the subpoena? Mr. Westberg, yes. Ms. Liu, and do you understand, as designated corporate representative of this deposition, my questions are asking for the CSU knowledge and not your percentage, or sorry, your personal knowledge. Do you understand that? Mr. Westberg, yes. Ms. Liu, and how did you prepare to testify on the topics on the subpoena? Mr. Westberg, we reviewed the student file, conferred with legal affairs at the Chicago State, as well as Michael Hayes, and reviewed the topic submitted. Ms. Liu, you are concurring with Mr. Hayes. How many times did you meet with Mr. Hayes? Mr. Westberg, somewhere between 4 or 5 times. Ms. Liu, and when were these times? Mr. Westberg, within the last 2 months. Ms. Liu, and how long was each meeting? Mr. Westberg, at least an hour. Ms. Liu, and were they in person? Mr. Westberg, no. Most. Today was in person. Most were virtual. Ms. Liu, did you plead with anyone else from Mr. Hayes' office? Mr. Westberg, no. Ms. Liu, did you speak with any other attorneys in this room? Mr. Westberg, no. Ms. Liu, did you speak with other attorneys of Mr. Tinubu? Mr. Westberg, no. Ms. Liu, did you speak with any employees of CSU in preparing for this deposition? Mr. Westberg, Robin Hawkins in our legal affairs office. Ms. Liu, and what is Robin's title? Mr. Westberg, I don't know her title. Ms. Liu, and she is an attorney? Mr. Westberg, yes. Ms. Liu, and when did you speak with the Robin? Mr. Westberg, within the last 2 weeks. Ms. Liu, and for how long? Mr. Westberg, about an hour each time. Ms. Liu, and what were the general topic of conversation? Mr. Westberg, no, sorry, Mr. Hayes, Cotton, I would object on the basis of privilege. Mr. Westberg, you can answer that question generally, but do not disclose in that answer specific conversations with Ms. Hawkins, who is an attorney for the CSU. Generally, the subject matter, answer that, but please don't go beyond that. Mr. Westberg, we discussed the case. Ms. Liu, and did you speak with any former employee of the Chicago State University in preparation for this deposition? Mr. Westberg, did you speak, sorry, Mr. Westberg was like, I'm gonna, sorry, there is extra question there. It was like, did you speak to Mr. Tinubu or any representatives of Tinubu? Mr. Westberg, no. Ms. Liu, and other than the individual that we spoke, you spoke to rather, did you speak with anyone else about today's deposition